Companies like Uber raise the bar regarding customer service experience by providing them amenities like water, candies, or having comfortable seats, or letting them play their own music. If Ola drivers do not provide these amenities, the customer's expectations compared to the service delivered may be disappointing. Second, limited control over the drivers. Ola riders do not work as direct employees for the company. Outsourcing makes this kind of business very profitable for Ola. However, drivers may not embrace the core values of the company because they also can work for firms like Taxify and Uber. This lack of loyalty may lead to have not a good service. And last but not least, customer behavior during the ride is unpredictable, with many cases around the world regarding aggressive behavior from the customers towards drivers. All service may experience problems if the customer behavior policies are not strict.
We identified the problem that the drivers aren't really working for us, they're not employees in the classical understanding. So we have limited impact on their behavior and on their decisions. So the first problem we identified was that the service environment in the car might not be up to consumer expectations. And as we cannot force the drivers to conform to our standards, we need to incentivize them. We need to create a reason for them to want to do that, which for example could be a tiered system. We can reward them by giving them a better cut, so having them pay less commission, or we could give them better rides during peak times, or we could trust them more in conflict situations. Usually the burden of proof would be equally split between the driver and the consumer, and if it's someone who has already proven to be trustworthy, we could shift the burden a bit towards the consumer and trust the driver. For example, we would not withhold payment until a troubled consumer has already proven that the problem was on the driver's side. The second problem we identified was that the drivers, they don't really identify with the company to the same degree as an employee would. So they might work for another company at the same time, or they might just not identify with the company values and these things. And one idea to combat that would be to create a company identity that goes beyond just strict employees. For example, you could have meetings for the drivers to know each other, to be in this together. That's one of many ways. But also the tiered system would incentivize them to feel as a part of a journey within the company that would help them to identify with the company more and share the values. The third issue we identified was that in a situation where we have troublesome consumers, the failure isn't really recoverable. You can only get rid of the person that is troublesome in that situation, and then it's really about keeping the driver, because while our consumers are technically the people using the service, we also need to incentivize the drivers to stay with us, and so that makes them consumers as well. So we need to recover in a way that the driver still wants to work for us. It's okay if we lose the consumer because they're not really brand loyal in any way anyway, but the drivers might be. So we need to keep the drivers around.
Building positive relationship with the customers by creating value can be really profitable for the company. For this purpose, we have locked down on 3 significant strategies that will enable Ola to build and maintain relationship with its customers. The first one is in establishing a customized bond. This can be achieved by introducing various driving programs before they render the driving services. Also ongoing consistent drivers training programs with a gap of 6 months between them, so that this will ensure that the Ola drivers will tackle the issues that will arise, the situational problems that will arise, and also enable them to customize the whole experience for the customers, which will be also applied for the general masses. The second one being introducing incentivized offerings such as monthly subscription programs, pool ride options, limited offers during the low peak period. This will help Ola not only to retain its existing customers but also to expand its customer base This will also serve as a unique selling point for Ola and to gain a competitive advantage. The last one being managing customers' experience with online application of Ola by ensuring the visibility of the features, the offers, and simple layout and payment processes, as this affects and positively impacts the customer's experience with the brand.
Wow. When we're looking to terminate a relationship with a customer in Ola, there are only two scenarios. One, if we are no longer servicing the area, that means the customer is no longer profitable to us. Or B, when we've come across an abusive and violent customer, which means the customer is not always right. There are three strategies which Ola needs to look at when we're terminating a relationship. First one, establish the cause why we are terminating a relationship. If it's as simple as we no longer service your area, still it's always preferable if we can intimate the customer in advance. What if a customer depends on you for a daily commute? It's always best that we no longer servicing the area, inform the customer about it. Second, back it up with data and evidence. If the matter is already illegal, if there was a violent altercation between the driver and the customer, it's best if you can back it up with data. Third, make it a happy ending for the customer. Even in the scenarios where you know for a fact that the customer was wrong, it's preferable if you can still credit the customer for the ride. It doesn't mean that you accept that the customer was right, it just means that the company has moved on. It means that the transaction was just business and it was not personal at all. If these strategies are not followed, there's a very high chance the customer is still upset and he has the internet to rant about how bad Ola as a company was.